pull that jacket like out from like this, and I just take those scissors and go and just cut that jacket off.
Oh my God.
I go peeling it out, and I could not get that smell out of my nose. So I'm like, again, I'm really weak stomach. So I go over there and I throw up everything I've eaten since I was born. There's nothing in my stomach left, and I have.
Did you make it to the
and
garbage?
Amy Barnes is laughing at me, and everybody thinks it's funny, and all the ladies, all the aides, everybody's getting a big hoorah out of this. And like I am like sick. So I've never been the stinky person. Like I pride myself on like there's no like I can't do anything about me being like gray headed and.
What's up, y'all?
This is Beyond 21.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Callie.
I'm Skylar.
I'm Blake.
And yeah.
We got Skylar on here because he's pretty cool, pretty funny, and he was on the Hayden, Alabama podcast.
So Skylar was a coach and a teacher at Cherokee County High School when you were at the elementary school, right? While we were all in school or whatever. So Blake has got a little story because he was one of Blake's football coaches. So tell us the story, Blake.
So I think it was junior year, and I believe Skylar was quarterback and receiver coach. We went out there for practice, and Skylar was throwing passes with the quarterbacks and stuff. So I think we would run second string receivers against first string corners.
Sounds
I think
about
is what
right.
we were doing.
He's like, yeah,
And
sure.
So we'd go in the huddle. Skylar would call the play, or Tyron would call the play on what the receivers was going to run. And we'd got in the huddle, and I remember Skylar grabbed me by the face mask or something. He said, because I still remember the plays, like, you going to run a speed out? And he said, and I want you to burn. I don't even know if I should say his name. I guess
Just
it'll
say
be
it.
all
Say
right.
his first name.
He said,
Well,
I want you to.
We'll just burn the DB.
Yeah.
That way nobody gets their feet.
Yes. I don't want to bring up nothing bad from the past. So Skylar's like, I want you to burn the corner. So I'm thinking, okay. And he said, and when you catch this ball, I want you to turn upfield, take off running. And he said, when you come back, I want you to flip him the football and tell him you'll sign it after practice.
Do you remember that?
Now,
Oh, there's not a doubt in my mind I told him to do that. There's no doubt. Like, and let me, like, we're not trying to show anybody up, but like, there is nothing better. Like, I can coach a kid. And I'll believe this to the end of time. And I can coach a kid, or Nick Saban, or whoever. There's thousands, millions of people better coached than I am. But when a kid coaches a kid, or a kid competes against each other, like, we can go through the motion. If I throw Blake the speed out and he catches it, we come up and make a tackle. Did we really get better? We obviously know what to do because we're repping plays. And I don't know if it's right or wrong, but there's no doubt in my mind I probably told him to, or I did.
so the funny part about the story was, I'm thinking, and Skylar's serious. Like, you can see it in his eyes. He's like, you going to cook him. And I'm thinking,
Oh, we had him set up.
oh, this was straight setup. I'm probably like 140 pounds. I mean, I'm probably the same size I am now. And then our number one DB, I guess he's 6'3"-ish.
Well, he's tall, skinny dude.
You know who I'm
Oh, yeah, I
talking
know
about?
exactly who it is.
Maybe 6'4".
I know exactly.
He knows now.
And we're the size ain't.
And to his behalf, like, he's an athlete. Like, he is a stud. Like, I mean, a great athlete.
Oh, he
taught
had me
him a lesson,
beat.
though.
But I've been around it a while. Like, I know, I see him every day. I know what he bites on. I know us, and again, we're trying to get better. You know what I mean? And like, at the same time, like, I'm wanting him to compete. Like, I'm telling him, dude, you can do this. Just look at me. You got this. You got this. Just go, look, catch this ball. As soon as you turn around, it'll be right in your face. Catch it and go score. I said, then just flip it to him. Tell him to sign it.
So you remember
exactly
that.
how he
Oh, I
said
remember
it.
100. Like
I told you
I have
you
no
remember.
idea. Like there's a million stories that I could tell from the elementary school or from Cherokee County, North Jackson, Etowah, that are just hilarious. Like the things kids say. Like they tell you when you're in education classes, make sure you write down everything that you think's interesting, and that way when you get done teaching, you can put it in a book. And like there's.
We're gonna get to those stories. I promise.
And so I remember sitting there, and I'm looking over there. I'm like, there's no way. Like I'm pretty sure I told Skylar, I'm like, Skylar, I'm not doing that. He's like, yeah, you are. I was like, he's gonna kill me. He's like, nah, you got it. You got to do it. Ain't no way around it. And so I'm thinking in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I just need to run the route. Because I know the ball is going to be there as soon as I turn. I just need to accidentally drop it. Then I ain't even got to do it. And then as I'm walking, Skylar says something. He said, I think he said, if you drop this, you run the rest of practice. So I'm like, well, there goes plan A. We going back. I guess
I know what he's thinking too. Like you got as the first rule of thumb, you got to know what your players are thinking. He really didn't want to do it. Blake's a good guy, and he's kind of quiet, and not real controversial. We're trying to set a fire under this guy.
I was not about it at all. And then he said, you're going to run the rest of practice if you drop it. So I'm like, well, I'm not dropping it. I'm going to catch it if I can catch it. So as I'm walking over there, I remember Skylar like pointing at him, and he's going, you better get cooked. You better get burnt. You better get ready.
Made it worse.
What are you doing? Like, no, don't be saying this. And so when I get over there and line up, it was like a switch flip. And I'm like, oh, I just need to do it. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I catch it and I come back and I say it to him, he's going to be mad. Like, he's probably going to want to fight for sure. But then I'm thinking, well, Skylar told me to do it. So he wants to fight it. I'm hoping
I've got you.
it's going to get broke up. So, lo and behold, just like you thought, he bit. I caught it. I come walking back by, and I get from probably me to Skylar from him, and I flipped the ball, and I said, I'll sign it after practice. And now that I just kept walking. Well, the corner of my eye, I see him walking up to her. What'd you just say? What'd you say to me? Skylar is jumping up and down. He's yelling, you just got burnt. What are you doing?
Stir the pot.
This is second string. What do you do? You just got cooked. It was like the rest of practice, just, can I use a slightly bad word here?
I can.
The rest of practice was hell.
Perfectly.
But it felt good. I'm not gonna lie. It did feel good.
The thing about it was, at that point in time, there was so many athletes at Cherokee County, and they rode the wave that they're riding right now. Like Cherokee County is loaded. You see all the stuff on social media. I mean, how strong they are, and how like physically dominant. Just looking at them, you can tell that they're extremely disciplined in what they eat and what they put in their body, and
now it's in all sports, besides just football. Because at one point it was just football.
Like, in my opinion, there's nobody, and I've never seen it firsthand, but the proof's in the pudding, if you will. Jacob Kelly is world class in the weight room. I can't think of another high school coach anywhere around here that's doing as good a job, or even a close second to what Kelly's doing in the weight room with those kids. I mean, Jacob Kelly's doing a phenomenal job marketing the entire program. I mean, he is getting our kids strong. And as a former, I guess alumni, old guy, you gotta appreciate that, and you gotta be grateful for that.
Okay, I have do you want to tell some of your teaching stories, some other coaching stories, some fun ones, or just really interesting ones?
I mean, I'm so scatterbrained and so ADHD and so here, there, and everywhere else. Like, I'm an in the moment guy.
Yeah.
I'm a spontaneous, like, hey, Jennifer, pack your stuff. We're going to Las Vegas. And we'll just, I mean, I don't really plan a whole lot. So, I mean, unless I'm just, triggered by something, I can't really just, nothing really sticks out, I guess. But, there's so many things. Like, I guess teaching elementary school, they don't prepare you for 175 little kids, they're yours for an hour. And I'm like, wow.
How do you do that for real? Like, how do you have the patience? Because I can barely muster the patience for 10 at Bible school.
Let's just start from the very beginning. Okay, so I played college football at UAB in Jacksonville State and never really got hurt, never had to have, like, any kind of major, like, surgeries. I mean, we had broke bones and stuff like that, but, just nothing real major. And so I didn't get the insurance. I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't get sick. I tell all of our kids everywhere I've ever been, I don't get sick. Sick gets me. And, it's just one of those things, you want to be rough and tough or whatever. So I don't get the insurance my first year teaching school. And I'm thinking, well, I don't need that. You just send me my money, I'm good. Well, I get my first paycheck and I'm looking like, where's the other half of this thing out? Like, this is it? It's terrible. But anyway, back to my first, like, real baptism into public school education, I guess. They dropped me off 175, 160, 100, well over 100. And I think my largest grade level, we had them for an hour at a time. I think it was, there was a lot of kids in there. And we didn't have any air conditioning. And we had one boy restroom, one girl restroom, and one water fountain.
Yeah.
So use your imagination, if you will, and let's go on this journey. We're in the elementary school gym, and the gym is not large enough to have a 3-point line on the floor.
You're talking about Center Elementary.
Center Elementary. Okay. And now I've got 165 kids. It's 95 degrees outside, and it's been raining for 30 or 45 minutes at lunch, no air conditioning, and it's 150% humidity. Like, the air's so thick in that gym, you can, like, cut it. And I've got 2 box fans, or 2 of those big round fans, in, like, catty cornered in the corners, just trying to pull air through there.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like hot. It's soaking wet. Playground's muddy. You can't go outside. These kids are in there, and we're trying to have organized PE, and it was kind of chaotic. And I'm going through my brain like spatial awareness. Can't get a bunch of kids hurt, blah, blah, blah. And it seemed like it rained every day, when school started. So I just decided, we're going to have stretching first, and then we're going to have, like, sit-ups, push-ups, and the running separately. So I would either have the boys sit in the bleachers while the girls exercise, or the boys sit in the bleachers while the girls exercised. And anyway, we just rotate. And I had a rule because, kids are smart. Like, elementary school kids are smart. And, the water line would be stretched all the way into the cafeteria during running time. And then, boom, nobody's there during the fun stuff. During playtime.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, y'all got me. All right. So I made a rule. All right. So you can get as much water as you want, because we're not going to exercise but like 5 minutes. We're going to run for like 3 or 4 minutes, especially early in the school year. And then as the school year goes and we build up endurance, we'll run a little longer. And that transformed into running for songs. So, they'd tell me a song, and I'd type it in on the keyboard on YouTube, and we'd let them run during their song. Yeah. And that, made it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. Carly had a song. She used to say what it was, and Daddy would say, "Will you tell Skylar to play that song?" Telling that I said to play that song, and I cannot remember what it is.
So they're in there, and they're playing their little songs, and everything. And I always had that rule, if you can get as much water as you want during playtime, but you're exercising. we don't give math and science tests or spelling tests without letting you practice. We're not giving the pacer test at the end of the year without you practicing. Like you're going to know how to do sit-ups, push-ups, and we're going to have organized PE. And then whatever activity we got, if you want to use the restroom or get water, you can do it during your playtime. So anyway, I'm standing there with Amy Barnes, first year teacher, and it's, they know the rules now. This is like right around Christmas time, and it's 100 degrees in the gym. It's either 100 or 30, because we've got these big gas heaters up in the rafters.
Yeah.
So by the time it gets warm enough that you are warm and comfortable, all the body heat from all those little kids, it's freezing or it's 100. So anyway, I'm wearing shorts like this and the coaching jacket. And, being at a small school like Cherokee County, we didn't have a huge budget for clothing. And my first year, I was excited. Like, I love that jacket. Like, we went to Longhorns to eat. We go to town. We go to Christmas with our family, Thanksgiving, wherever, go to basketball county tournament. I'm wearing that jacket. Like, I'm from Center.
Yeah, you're proud of it.
I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
Went to school here, now I'm coaching here. I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
So I love this jacket, man. And I mean, I wouldn't have sold it for nothing. So I'm standing there with Amy, and just a little windbreaker, like quarter zip. And little boy comes up and he says, "Coach, can I go use the restroom?" I said, "Man, you know the rules. It ain't a holiday. Today's a work day. We're running." And he was like, "Coach, please, 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 let me use the restroom. I really got to go." So I was like, "All right, man. I'm going to time it. However long you're in there." And I could care less if he uses the bathroom. I just didn't want there to be 40, 50 more kids line up and go with him. So anyway, the girls are running, and at this time we'd kind of built up, and they'd run through 2 songs. And I'm like, "Hey," I said, "Amy, you seen so-and-so?" She said, "Coach, I ain't seen him." So I just knew he had pulled one on me. So I'm going to investigate. I'm like Sherlock Holmes. I'm going in there. I go in the bathroom, and you never know what you're going to see in an elementary school bathroom, by the way. So I yell, "Hey," and I go in and like, sure enough, there's nobody in there but him. And he's in the far stall, or the only stall. And I said, "Hey, man, you good?" And he said, "Yeah, Coach, be out in just a second." I was like, "Well, hurry. You've missed 8 minutes." So anyway, he's like, I'm coming, Coach. I promise. I promise." So I go out, and I was like, "Amy," I said, I don't think he's in there playing." I said, "I don't know. I'm going to check that stall, make sure he ain't like trying to flood the place or something." I said, "But I reckon he's coming." And she said, "Well, he's been in there forever." I said, "Yeah, I know." So anyway, like, I get the boys started. I walk back out there and, get the radio started, get, girls in the bleachers, swap them out. And me and Amy's just sitting there, watching them run, making sure they're staying on the outside of the gym, not pushing and shoving, because, it's super crowded. And I wasn't paying any attention. Well, the little kid comes out of the bathroom and just comes up and says, "Thank you so much, Coach. I really had to go." And he just takes off around the gym, just lickety-split, just wide open. And he's just plowing up the...
He's on cloud 9.
Man, he was super respectful, super appreciative. Like, it was like I'd gave him, like, snack money or something. Like a pack of M&Ms. Like, he was pumped that he got to go use the bathroom. And he's just really running. He's tearing out. And I got to looking at Amy, and I said, "Amy, you smell that?"
Oh, no.
And she's like, "I was just about to ask." And she looks at me like that, and she said, "Coach, look at your jacket." And I look down, and there's little chocolate handprints. Like where you come up and give me a hug. And this is like, I don't know, like first grade, maybe first grade. I can't remember. Again, I guess it's all the concussions I've had. I don't know. But anyway, sure enough, I had like just human fecal matter all over my chest. And I've got the world's weakest stomach.
I was about to ask, were you not about to puke?
Lord have mercy. Like, I go in my office, and I've got my eyes are watering, and I'm doing this, and I'm looking down, because I know if I look at it again, I'm going to puke. I know I am. So I'm looking around, and I find some scissors, and I just pull that jacket out from like this, and I just take those scissors and it goes, and just cut that jacket off.
Oh my God.
I go peeling it out, and I could not get that smell out of my nose. So I'm like, again, I'm really weak stomach. So I go over there and I throw up everything I've eaten since I was born. There's nothing in my stomach left, and I have.
Did you make it to the
and
garbage?
Amy Barnes is laughing at me, and everybody thinks it's funny, and all the ladies, all the aides, everybody's getting a big hoorah out of this, and like I am like sick. So I've never been the stinky person. Like I pride myself on there's no I can't do anything about me being like gray headed and ugly. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna stink. Like so anyway, I get on the phone and the lady that I call is precious. Like precious. I mean I love Miss June Maddox. Like
I knew that's who that was you were talking about.
Miss June is like the OG of Center Elementary. Like Glenn Lovelace and June Maddox was my PE teachers. So now she's working in the front office, and I love Miss Maddox. Like we're like that.
Yeah.
At least I thought we were. So I call up to the office, and I'm like, Miss Maddox, this is Coach Ray. And she's like, hey, Coach, what are you doing? And I'm like, Miss June, I've got to run to the house, and I've got to run to the house, and I'll be right back. And I'm expecting Miss June to be on my side about this.
Okay, baby.
And I said, I'm expecting her to be like, okay, Coach, anything you need, because like Linda Highfield, Miss June, like the veteran teachers were like my teachers.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like we're on this. Emily Morgan, like loved Emily Morgan.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had her.
And
I did too.
there's several more that was there, or I went to school with their kids. Anyway, well, that was not what happened. Miss June was like, Coach, do you want me to put you in for a half a day? I said, no, Miss June. I said, I've got to run to the house. I'll be right back. I'm not wanting to tell Miss June, precious, sweet, Miss June, hey, I took a bath in someone else's
Poop.
So, anyway, I'm not really wanting to go into a bunch of details. She said, well, Coach, now, you can't just leave anytime you want to. And I said, yes, ma'am, I understand. I said, but I've got some extenuating circumstances. Again, I'm trying to beat around the bush. I said, look, I'll just, probably take 15, 20 minutes, and at that time, I just lived right down the road from the school. I said, I'll be, straight there, straight back, but I've got to go home. And she said, Coach, again, I'm going to have to put you in for a half day. I said, Miss June, I don't even know if I've got a half a day. Like, I don't even know how many days I got. Like, I've just started working here. And I'm telling you, it's an emergency. She said, well, Coach, I don't make the rules, but if you're going to leave, like, what if something happens and we need you? I said, look, I tell you what. You tell Mr. Johnson, and I can't remember if it was Mr. Johnson or Mr. Pierce, but I knew both of them well enough to know that they knew that I was going to do my job. And so I don't remember again who the principal was. It seems like Mr. Pierce had already stepped away, and Mr. Johnson had come in.
Yeah.
And so I think I said, you tell Mr. Johnson, a little kid just come out of the bathroom and he wiped
Poo-poo all over me.
I don't remember the term I used. I can't remember it wasn't like a bad term, but I think it was doo-doo. Anyway, I said, you tell Mr. Johnson that a kid come out of here, he's wiped doo-doo all over my chest, and I've had to cut my clothes off, and I've got to go to the house and take a bath. If he then thinks that I need to put in a half a day for the 15 minutes that I've been gone, I'll be more than happy. I said, but right now, I really don't know if I've got enough days, nor do I care. I've got to go. I puked everything I've ate all week. Everything I've ate, I puked it up. I'm covered in crap. I've got to go to the house.
He was fighting for his life.
There is no doubt. You definitely have some extenuating circumstances. You go ahead and go, and I'll let him know if you need to. Well, anyway, I get back, and like everybody, like it's spread like mayonnaise all over the school. Like it has, like every teacher knows about this. It's like they sent out an email. Hey, PE teacher covered in crap. Make a joke on him. Like, I mean, everybody is getting a big kick out of this. And I'm like, golly bum. I mean, let's keep some things private here, man. Let's don't just blow this out. So, I mean, they never, like, there was never a dull moment. There was never a dull moment with those elementary school kids.
They don't have a box in the office for the adults that have stuff like that. You know,
No,
they have
I
a
mean,
box in the
they
office
don't
if
have
you
anything
pee on
to
your.
get extra fat up there. I mean, if you're working, I mean, me and Mr. Danny was and Mr. Johnson was the only 3 guys on campus. Well, you know, there's a good chance that they're not going to get covered in somebody else's crap. And, you know, I didn't think that I would, so I didn't have any change of clothes or anything. So,
Did you start to pack an extra set of clothes after that?
man, my truck looked like a U-Haul. Like, I started living out of it. Like, but even then, like it was so bad. Like, you know, I've got to like I'd puke so much. Like I was physically sick. I had to have something to eat. Like, I mean, I had to change my clothes. I had to take a shower. I mean, I think I've got a pretty good case here for some slack. But anyway, you know, it's just, you know, one of the deals. But
And then had to relive all that when you had a kid.
oh yeah, like I got puked on, peed on, and crapped on before I left the hospital. Like, I'm telling you, my little boy was so much worse than my little girl. Like to change their diapers, like.
I didn't know you had a daughter.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot you don't know about me. That's why we're sitting here.
Yeah.
They had enough time today for all of it. So, I've got a question for you. I know that you went to high school with my cousin. So, is there any stories that you might would have for Chad?
Well, there's several. You know, high school in a small town like Cherokee County is like, it should be a very fun time, you know, for everybody. And, you know, it was definitely that for me. And, you know, what we try to tell our kids, you know, that we coach and we teach, you know, you need to make sure that you're, you know, being good to everybody because those are your neighbors. And there's a good chance that your kids are going to go to school with their kids. And you know, everybody is so wrapped up in the tomorrow, you know, when they're in high school that you forget to live in today. And our time that we spent together in the field house, you know, you just become brothers. You know what I mean? And you know, some of the guys that I see today, and again I've been lucky enough to teach their kids and coach some of their kids, and you can just tell, you know, man, he looks just like his daddy. And you know, it was such a important like process and time in my life to play with those guys and to know that, you know, he's going to do his job. Like he's got a job to do, and he's just as bought in. He's just as prepared as I am, and he wants the same thing I want, and we're gonna get this done. And my senior year, we had a great tailback who has recently passed away. We had another back in the backfield, Herschel, who was he's probably the strongest human being that I've ever been around, like anywhere. Like Herschel was unbelievable. The things he could do, you know, as a Dixie Youth baseball kid. We, you know, again, we're growing up with each other. We went to elementary schools with each other. And then our offensive line, I still say as a whole, it's the best offensive line that has ever come through center as a whole. Like, I mean, you got Ryan Law and Will Miller. If you don't think those guys right there are tough, next time you see one of them, jump bad.
I know Ryan is.
I mean,
Me and Hunter seen a lot of Ryan.
Ryan Law is big enough to go bear hunting with a stick. Will's big enough to help him hold them. And then the other 3 guys, you know, Brad Weaver was the right guard, Andrew Jones was the left guard, and Matt Morgan was the center. I mean, I would have felt completely comfortable any game of the year putting my wife and children in that pocket for 4 seconds at a time. I mean, Jeffrey Woods and Herschel and that offensive line, you're not going to get back there. Like, and they like we would fight, like me and Ryan Long would break out in fist fight. Like he would miss a block or something, and we'd just fight each other. It was like two Comanches out there, just killing each other at practice. I miss up, hey, do your job. How about blocking the guy? Well, then he'd turn around and just push me, and then all of a sudden we're fighting. I'm not saying that's the way things should be, but that's just the way things were. And I know times have changed and everything, but those guys were so good at what they done. And then played with guys like Damian and Zach and Chad. I mean, those guys were just unbelievable. Josh Fife, and I know I'm individually naming these guys, but I could sit here and tell you, so many great players that I played with, and
So was Chad as good as he makes it out to me?
Chad Gossett was as good pound for pound. He was as good as anybody.
Because I know his personality. I didn't get to see him play, but he's
Chad
he's outgoing.
And Chad was extremely, like unbelievably, like I can't tell you how hand-eye coordinated Chad Gossett was. Like, and he's one of those guys, like you don't even have to show him. You can just tell him how to do it, and Chad could do it. Like, no matter how hard you threw it, no matter what coverage they're going to be in, he's going to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. He's going to be open, and he's going to catch it, and he's going to block you. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. Chad's one of those guys that he's going to do his job, and that's why I always loved Chad. And he was so funny. Like, I never saw Chad when you wouldn't know exactly what kind of mood he was in just looking at him. If he's happy, he's smiling, cutting up, and he's got that old goofy laugh.
He's the same way.
He's still the same guy. Like, I can hear him laugh right now in my head. I'll go to sleep tonight thinking about Chad laughing. And you hear him at the Waffle King in town or whatever. And again, like, you talked about how tough the offensive linemen were. I mean, you're not running that thing in between the tackles with Cedric Covington and Zach Morgan. Well, then, all right, let's try out. You got Garvis Glass and Brandon Dupree. Here's the facts of the whole situation. Like, we were undefeated in 3A my senior year and had already beat – we had been 4A up until then, and we dropped down. And we had already beat the number one team in the state at their place the first game of the year, and they had T.J. Heath, who played in the NFL. They had Bryant Ginn playing tight end. They had several of my teammates at Jacksonville State, and they had the Chris Evans was the I think it was Chris Evans. He was the back that broke all kind of records at Sanford. Like, they had a squad. This was not a fluke thing. And we go down there, and Jeffrey Woods had 49 carries for 399 yards rushing to open the game up with 110 degrees at Alexandria. Stuff like that just doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
We went down there and beat them. And if we'd have played them in a Little Caesars parking lot on Tuesday, the next week we'd have beat them again. There's nobody in Class 3A that could have beat us. And I had very little to do with it. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot of talent to take a snap and turn around and hand it to Herschel or Jeffrey. Or take a snap, stand back there without any worry of getting hit, and deliver it to one of those wide receivers. Like, I had very little to do with it. Like, just here's the keys to the truck. Get us to the destination or the end zone, and don't screw it up.
So how much younger was you than Chad and Zach?
Let's see. I graduated in 05, and they were class of 07, I think.
So you were older than Chad and Zach.
I was 2 years older than Chad and Zach, and we'd go fishing or they'd ride around. We'd done everything, like as a unit, as a team or whatever. And man, it was just there was no end to some of the stuff that was going on. But I just remember, like, the story that really sticks out in my head. We had a linebacker, and I'm not going to tell you which one it is because they're all in better shape than me and a lot tougher and a lot meaner. And they're really good friends. But the story has to be told. But we've got a linebacker and we've got a receiver. Well, offense and defense, again, everybody plays, so it's not like it's an offense-defense thing. It's just a conflict of interest, so, there's always some shenanigans going on. I mean, you got 40, 50, 60 kids in the field house. I mean, there's something's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've been there. You know exactly.
I've got a few stories, but yeah.
Whether it's at the bus stop or whatever, kids are going to use their imagination. Well,
oh, yeah.
This guy used his imagination. And there is no doubt at this point in time, like the linebacker's one of the strongest guys on the team. I mean, he's just like you just didn't mess with him. Well, everybody knew that except this one receiver, and it was still to this day. Like me and Coach Curry talk about it all the time. Like, I tell everybody I've ever been in this. So Coach Curry had this water hose tied up or hooked onto the shower head, so you could wash down Gatorade coolers and everything else, and then the other shower heads were there for you to use, So anyway, the linebacker goes in to use the bathroom, and we're not talking about number 1. We're talking about number 2. So he goes in, and he goes in and gets comfortable, and he's gone just long enough for the receiver to come up with this idea, and he's the only one of us that was fast enough to get away from him routinely and too smart enough to do it. So he mentions it. Well, we're all laying in the floor just playing cards. And we're just playing cards waiting for school to get out. It was a Thursday. Not a whole lot going on. We had a walkthrough. And it seems like we had, quarterback club was cooking steaks and baked potatoes and stuff because we'd won the week before. So we're just, waiting, again, for the bell to ring. We're just in there just hanging out. And we're all laying in the locker room, and said it now. Damien says, "Hey man, watch this." And he was like, "Hold on, man, don't do anything stupid to get us in trouble, And Damien's always like pulling a prank on somebody. Well, anyway, he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go wet so and so while they're using the bathroom," and we're all in there. Of course, gloves are off this time. Yeah, you got to do that. Yeah, it's worth running for. Because we're thinking, hey, we're either going to have to run for him wetting this guy, or we're going to have to run for that guy getting wet and killing this guy. So either way, it's one of those things that's worth running for. We all sat there and talked about it. Well, I just remember everybody busting out laughing because he goes in there and turns that water on full blast. And he's using the bathroom, and he kicks that door open to that stall and just squirts him. And he can't go anywhere. His pants down to his ankle. And he's sitting there just getting hit in the face, just covered up with a water hose. And we are busting out laughing. And Coach Curry comes out of there, and he goes nuts on us. He's like, "Hey, what is going on? What is going on?" And, it's one of those things, like, we knew we were going to get caught before we done it, but it was like one of those things, this has got to be done. This is good. And, man, we have laughed and laughed and laughed about that. But, Chad was always into something. Like,
oh, yeah, I can
Zach
see
was
it.
always into something. And, we were the older guys, so we would normally be the ones kind of putting them up to doing this stuff. And, Stephen Maxwell is another one. He was always doing stuff and they're so funny. Rex Holder, TC Holder, they were brothers, and there was no telling what they would be into. They would be brothers out there just fighting at practice. And then one day, they'd come over there and they'd be best friends, and they'd fight. During water breaks, sometimes during tackling drills. They're going to fight every day. They're going to fight each other every day. There's no end to the amount of stories that you can tell, about coaching, or playing or whatever. But, I've had such a blessed life. I couldn't imagine. I was a business major in college, and I could not imagine me being able to hold down a job because I couldn't imagine me like buying into putting a tie on every day. Like I just couldn't do that.
You get
Like,
bored.
I mean, it's just ingrained in my DNA to be around ball and to be a part of, teams and something bigger than just me or I always need a purpose. Mm-hmm. Like my wife wants me to mop. What's the purpose? Like I'm fixing to track dirt back in this house in less than 20 minutes. Like, no. No. I mean, nobody's gonna like my buddies wouldn't notice a dead skunk laying on the table. That's a few crumbs. I mean, no. Like let's fold the wash rags. Why? Like put them right beside the shower and you just get one out of the hamper. And then on the other side of the shower, just have another hamper. Then we just rotate the hampers. I mean, I call it throwing effort towards foolishness. And we do that a lot in our house. But, again, I'm not the boss, so I just do what I'm told.
Blake does too.
So you do mop and you do sweep.
No.
Oh.
But she doesn't need it. But, I mean, I don't gripe at her for doing it. I don't go around saying, hey, Mr. Spot, that looks stupid, by the way. I mean, she doesn't have to weed eat. I don't have to mop.
There you go.
We get along great. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you talk about Chad and Zach. Okay, so back to Chad and Zach. We're playing in Coosa, Georgia. And again, this is Chad and Zach's freshman year, Herschel's freshman year, and so many of those other guys. I mean, they had a great class. The class below me did. I mean, they played for a state championship. We've got a good football team, and we're going to Coosa, Georgia. We have got the ball with about 4.5 minutes to go. And we call timeout. It's on 4th down. And if we punt it to them, they're out of timeouts. And it's fourth and about 5 from our 40 driving to score. We're coming out. And they call timeout to talk about it. We go over to talk to our coach about it. And we're sitting over there, and I want the football. Like, I'm wanting to throw it. Because if they tackle us now, they take over on downs. And I felt like, because Maurice Dupree's at receiver, I can throw it to Maurice. If Maurice catches it, there's a good chance he'll score with it. So Zach's out there at one tight end, Chad's at the other. And we're going to run a fake handoff, like play action pass, and throw it to Maurice. And Coach Curry looks me dead in the eyes, and he said, now, whatever you do, do not throw an interception. Coach, man, I got this. I'm good. And I'd played pretty well, up until this point. I just kind of let you know what's coming, I guess. I just ruined the story, or part of the story. So I look at Coach, man, I got this. Ain't no problem. So, again, I didn't have to worry about getting hit. I got the best athlete in the state of Alabama out there playing wide receiver. So I'm going to throw it to him. I mean, how hard can it be? I'll take the snap, fake the handoff, and hit the safety right in the chest, like right in the numbers. Like me and him's playing pitch and catch. I mean, it's just be like throwing it at that wall right there. There's no way no way I could have threw it to him any better. Safety catches it. I make the tackle, and I start looking over there. And I'm scanning that whole sideline, and I'm back and forth. I cannot find Coach Curry. So we're on defense. I go down there, and I take a knee, like on the other end of the field. They're driving to score. We're up 3 at this time. I mean, again, couldn't find Coach Curry. I go on a knee, and I'm just sitting here thinking, God, please don't let them score. Just please, I'll do whatever. Just please don't let them score. I just remember thinking, don't let them score. My buddies have worked hard. It's first game of the year. I don't want to lose it. For my whole. Just please, whatever happens, don't let them score. Sure enough, they score. And about the time they score, I just remember seeing like the hand of God. I just reach over my head, and I like this hand comes over here, and he grabs me up, and he's like, "Are you blind?" I'm thinking like, well, maybe there's still time on the clock. I'm like, well, maybe, he'll forget about it. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know. He's like, are you blind? Like, what are you thinking? I just got out of my mouth. Don't throw an interception. And, I mean, he's just, like, chewing me up, spit me out. He's like, you are the worst quarterback in the whole state of Alabama. If we're playing in Georgia, that makes you the worst quarterback in 2 states. I'm like, hey, is it that bad, And all my buddies are sitting here just like, yeah, get him, coach. They're mad at me, because I threw on an interception. And he's like, all right, now that that's over, we got a ball game to win. He just, like, flips, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He's just told me how terrible it was. Now, he's like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get in this, and this is how we're going to roll. Look, there's plenty of time. Just stay under control. Play smart football. We believe in you. Pass me on the butt. I'm like, dude, now which one is it? You can't, So anyway, he goes out there, or I go out there, and we have, 2 or 3 plays and get it up to midfield, and we start rolling. And Adam Wickham's playing receiver, and Damian Chambers. I mean, we got some dudes out there, and we end up going down the length of the field in 2 minutes and like 31 seconds. Throw a fade route in the back of the end zone. Ball gets caught. We win the game, and after the game, the newspaper reporter comes up, and he's like, so. Man, it was an awesome drive. Can you tell us, what you were thinking after the interception? And about that time, Coach Curry was he just kind of, intervenes. And he's like, man, I don't know what he was thinking, but I sure am glad he got his mind right before that last drive. He played great the last drive, and I'm telling you, we never doubted him for a minute. We're telling you, kind of keep your head up. You just let the pass be the pass. I'm like, that's not anything like what you just said, but. I'm fixing to go on, like, I guess my Coach Curry rant. And, the town of Cherokee County has been so blessed with a rich athletic tradition. Bobby Beckett was the baseball coach who won the state championship back-to-back. We've won multiple girls' state championships with Jason Shields and Dell Welch and Jana McGinnis, or Jana Bright. And we won state championships in football when Coach Curry was here. Of course, everybody knows Bobby Joe Johnson. That's who the stadium's named after, and and everything that his whole entire family's done for the town of Center. And to be able to play and grow up around those guys and play for a guy like Trip Curry, like I think as appreciative as the town is to have been able to experience, the success that we did, throughout Coach Curry's tenure. I think we sometimes take for granted exactly, what his body of work actually is, or was, or should mean to this town, because he, if you step back and look, he played for multiple state championships and won one, and that's not, they don't give those state championship rings out. Like, you earn those. And, for him to be able to do it, because, everybody says, well, yeah, he had Cody Blanchard. Well, you set Cody Blanchard down, or Gabriel Chambers, or Caleb Crane, or any of those guys. And now that they're mature enough to know, like, it looked like LSU. Jackson was huge. And in reality, we had a great football team, but so did they. And Coach Curry played such an important role in those kids' lives at that time, and such an important role in those kids being able to believe in themselves enough to win a state championship for the entire town. And for themselves. But I guarantee you, if you ask those kids right now, like Coach Curry, when I think of Trip Curry, I don't think of what Trip Curry done for me as a player or a coach, because I got my start in coaching for Trip Curry. I think all those guys that were fortunate enough to be around Trip Curry and to play for Trip Curry, I think they would tell you that they learned so much more about being a human being and being able to successfully navigate everything that it takes to get through a day-to-day life. Like, he is just such an unbelievable person, and what he's done for my life, I don't know where I'd be without him. So, there's my 2 cents on Trip Curry.
Okay, I wanted to ask about the kind of the transition from being a player to now being a coach. Like, I know that when I was watching Carly play volleyball after I'd already graduated, like, it's hard to watch because you want to be out there and you want to be playing. Is that how you feel, or do you like being a coach more than you like being a player?
Well, you're not 37.
Well, yeah.
When I was 19, and I'll tell you how your mind works. Like, I could not wait to play college football. That was just a dream of mine, and I grew up a huge Auburn fan, and I don't know who I thought we were going to watch film against, but I'm sitting in a meeting room at UAB with Pat Sullivan, who was a Heisman Trophy winner from Auburn, quarterback, and we break out the Auburn-Tennessee SEC championship game from the year before. I'm sitting in there with Sam Hunt, Daryl Hackney, and Roddy White. I believe it was either right around that time. Roddy had come down, so I think Roddy was sitting in there with us, and Sam. I mean, and all those guys are awesome, a lot better athletes than me, and but the one I care about, especially at this time, is before Sam became a country music singer. Before Daryl and Roddy, I think Roddy had already been drafted, but Pat Sullivan was my guy. Like, I thought the world of Pat Sullivan. Great human being, great coach. And I'm watching an Auburn game with Pat Sullivan. So I'm like, I have arrived. You know what I mean? I don't.
You're there.
Yeah. I mean, if I get run over by a chicken truck on I-65 on the way home, I'm good. Like, box checked. So anyway, I just remember going back and watching Cherokee County play the year after I graduated. And I just remember thinking, how much slower the game looked from UAB versus high school football. And I'm not knocking high school football, especially not knocking that Cherokee County team, because they played for a state championship and should have won the state championship that year. They had a great football team. I just thinking, God, it has really slowed down, like, in a matter of months. Like, I could see everything so much clearer. Mm-hmm. And, like, of course, I would be lying if I didn't tell you, God, I wish, well, at some point in time, I think all of us has the same thought. If I knew then what I know now, I could be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Well, there's no way I want some of those kids from Cherokee County or, from this area, because there is great football played in this area at all schools, and great football players and great football coaches, and the game has gotten so much better. There's not a Friday night that goes by that I don't think about, all the times that were spent with my buddies and think about how awesome it would be to go back. Now, the Saturday mornings, I don't miss those. Like, feeling like you've been in a car wreck. But, again, of course you miss, your high school days, you miss your buddies, and you miss getting to see those people that you grew up with. And, there's, really good friends of mine that have since passed away or moved out of town. I mean, there's just, like, life's not the same after graduation, but yeah, I mean, I miss getting to play, but it's just so different being a coach, and you want to just grab them up and just put them in a time machine and take them back and say, look, you see, I made this same mistake, and I'm telling you from example, like, this is what you need to do, and here's why. And it's so much more fun because being a coach versus being a player, at least for me, because those Friday nights, as much as they're ingrained into my DNA and as much as they help make me who I am, that's not all that I am. You know what I mean? And that's what I tell our players. Like, I don't want you to think about tomorrow and look past what you've got right here in front of you. But at the same time, this cannot be your whole life. Like,
Yeah.
you've got to be a good daddy. You've got to be a good neighbor. You got to be a productive member of society. Like, nobody wants to grow up and, like, beat their wife, get addicted to drugs, and live under a bridge. But unfortunately, I mean, you've got low life pieces of trash that are beating their wife or selling dope or stealing from people. I mean, like, just be a good human being and treat people the way you want to be treated. And I mean, it would be so much better. Like, I mean, you look at the shape that our country's in right now, and I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't make enough money to be either one. Like, I just know that, groceries are high and gas prices are ridiculous, and some of the situations that the kids that I'm teaching are pitiful.
Yeah.
And, I just, there's got to be a better way than what we're doing right now. And, if you're looking out for me and I'm looking out for you, that's one thing. But, it's got to happen on a larger scale. And, we want our kids to be good people and grow up to be good men and raise good families. So, there's so much more goes on or goes into coaching that, you just don't appreciate or don't get until you're actually the one coaching.
Right.
I love every day. I couldn't imagine. I would coach for free, and it's just one of those things that, like, I really enjoy what I do, and the good Lord's blessed me more than I deserve or could possibly explain to you, and for that I'll always be grateful. And the biggest regret I have is not so much me. I have a little boy that's he loves everything with a scoreboard, and I've matured enough to allow him to have a basketball goal because I'm so competitive.
Dunking on him.
We don't play board games. We don't do anything. And I'm like, all right, son, you can have a basketball goal. But, I don't care how, I don't care if he plays sports. I'm not one of those, driving him to do this or driving him to do that. It would tickle me to death if he wanted to go duck hunting. I mean, whatever he wants to do, we'll do. And but the one thing that I think about every Friday night is the fact that my father was such a big influence in my life, and he'll never get to see that little boy play. And as good a man as he is, I have a hard time looking at my kid in an athletic situation and not just feeling sorry for him, because so much of my life was spent on some kind of athletic surface with Ricky Ray. And I was I was not really mature enough to put it into words like I am right now when I was in high school, and I got misunderstood, and I'd done a good job misleading people. I mean, I was not the most popular guy around here, but I was I've been every derogatory name in the book at some point in time, but I was okay being this, that, or the other as long as I was the winner. And my buddies worked, and I knew what they had went through, and I had obligation to them. But my dad's up there dying of liver cancer and been doing chemotherapy and radiation, so you're fixing to get everything I got. And if you can't understand that, then that ain't my job to stand around and explain it to you. But I promise you, I'm going to win. And a lot of people didn't understand why I was so competitive or so overbearing or such a jerk at times. Like, I didn't care if you liked me. I didn't have an obligation to be your friend. I've got buddies. I've got great friends. And, I don't know, again, if that's the way to be, but that's the way I was. And, I'm not saying that's, something that you need to model your life out after, your decision-making skills after everything that I've done. But, again, I've been really, really blessed to be in the situations and the spot that I'm in now, and I contributed a lot of that to the guys that helped raise me and the guys that were friends with me. So it is what it is. That's just a country way to explain things, I guess.
So tell us about your new duck club.
Well, if I'm not on a ball field, we are duck hunting, and there's no telling where we're liable to end up. So we've been everywhere from the Bering Sea in Anchorage, Alaska, to where that's where they filmed the deadliest catch. We was hunting king eiders out of these little inflatable rafts, which is exhilarating. I mean, it's the coldest I've ever been. I could not make myself quit shaking, and the whole time, like, you just do not want the hunt to end. Like, it's unbelievable. And then walking through the swamp in South Florida in the Everglades, hunting these 3 particular ducks that not found anywhere else. It's really the only huntable population in the North America. Up the East Coast, down the West Coast, everywhere in the middle. Like, we've been everywhere. So, you'd be surprised how many more friends and phone calls you get during hunting season, and you want to take all these kids because you love every one of them. And, they're all always asking, Coach, will you take me hunting? Coach, when are we going to go duck hunting? Coach, how many did y'all kill this week? And, me and my buddies, I mean, we have done so many stupid things. Like, you think about, like, what were we thinking? Like, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Like, no common, it's like we checked our common sense at the door and just threw it over our shoulder and just walked on in, just completely, like, oblivious to anything that made sense. And, anyway, I just know, like, if I like it, I want you to know I like it. And I want you to know how awesome it is so you can like it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just one of those guys. Like,
You want to share it. You want
have
everybody.
a whole lot of secrets. Like, you want to know, I'll tell you the truth. You don't like it, so be it. I like Gatorade. You may not like Gatorade. You may like Powerade, and that's your opinion. Gatorade's pretty good. So is Powerade. I don't care. I'll drink either one. It's not that big a deal. But anyway, going back to, all these kids wanting to go hunting and, all the, people our age, guys I went to school with, guys I coach with, like, hey, when are you going to take me duck hunting? Like, right after you sign over your title to your truck. Like I don't go to your house and sit on your motorcycle. You don't come to our place and shoot our ducks. I mean, you don't take somebody's Harley out for, night on the town. You don't come to my duck hole and kill my ducks. But anyway, it's one of those deals. We've always tried to take, like, youth hunters and stuff, duck hunting, and former students or current students or whatever. And we were sitting around and, we thought about, this idea, and I thought, well, we might as well, go all out if we're going to go. So we've got some guys that's partnering with us, and of course Sam Hunt, the country music singer, he's going to be a part of it and come down and hunt. And I don't know if anybody on the planet is more excited about that than my wife. Like, I keep telling her, I said, look, you can't do any better than me. You completely outkicked your coverage, and of course, I'm the only person.
Has she never met him before? He's one of your good friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were good friends. We went to college together, and I've known Sam forever. His mother is precious, and I see them every once in a while. Out eating supper, and he's got 2 brothers, Van and Ben, and it's a great family, and Sam's just busy, and he's got young kids, and of course he's married now, and I hadn't seen him in a long time, but they're great people, and my wife thinks he's cute, and she loves to sing in the car, and she just thinks it's awesome. And I was like, look, he's not here for you to have a meet and greet. Like, it's a vacation for him. He's not going to play a song. He's not going to talk. Like, we're going to go duck hunting. She's like, can I go? I'm like, no, you got to stay home and mop. Of course, I didn't tell her that because I'm obviously, like, sitting here not bruised up. But
she listens to the podcast every week.
I think she does.
I know she does.
I've got her
on her commute. She
like,
said.
I mean, she's married to me. This is not the first time I've made smart aleck comments. So, anyway, Jennifer, and I wasn't like being ugly. Like, my wife's favorite thing to do in the whole world is clean. Like, she'll take a shower and then clean the shower before she gets out of the shower. Like, I'm not joking. She's the cleanest human being I've ever been around. Like, our laundry smells Her laundry smells so good. We buy her.
She put that diva in it. She
the
make you wear diva wash.
I'm a diva wash guy. I'm the only guy that I know of that gets WillowTree updates sent to my phone.
Oh my god.
I'm serious.
She's gotta have both the coupons.
Yeah,
One on your
you got-
phone and one on
you
her
got
phone.
to. And we get WillowTree bucks. So, I get razzed about it, but I'm not the stinky guy. But, anyway, we're having a 3-night stay, 2-morning hunt here on Weiss Lake in private land. Heated pits. It'll be breakfast, lunch, dinner, all your food, and all your shells. So the only thing you got to do is show up, and if you win, you and 2 of your buddies or 2 guests of your choice is going to get to come and hunt with us, and we're going to furnish the ammunition. The only thing you got to show up with is a habit. We'll feed you, we'll get you back and forth, and the Ford Place in Fort Payne, Landers McClarty, they are providing a new vehicle for Sam's group and the winners group to drive around, so you're not just kind of stuck in one location. And we got several other sponsors: Ellis Ag, Tractor Place, Woody Waterfowl. They gave me some shirts, so I've got me some drip. I'm learning all these slang terms these kids use. I try to use it in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
And they're like, Coach, don't. No, you're old. And I'm like, I'm not that old, man. But anyway, it's going to be a good time. Like, the guys I hunt with are super good guys. And again, it's awesome to meet somebody like Sam Hunt, but the duck hunt itself is unbelievable, and you're gonna have a great time. And not only that, we're giving away this Saturday. We're doing a drawing for a dove hunt. So if you bought a ticket for the duck hunt, you also get entered into a dove hunt, and we're gonna furnish all the shells for the dove hunt. So all you got to do is show up. There'll be food there. We'll have water, Gatorade, Cokes, that kind of stuff for you to drink, and you buy your license, show up and dove hunt. So it'll be a good deal, and we've got several other like satellite or surprise drawings. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but like the dove hunt is going to be fun, but the next one is going to be like
Better.
a good one. Like the next one will be a good one, and we just want people to get excited about it, and hopefully, whoever wins will have a good time and enjoy themselves.
So how much are the tickets?
Tickets are $25 a piece. You can find them online.
We can post the picture of your code
Yeah,
or whatever
I
right
don't know
here.
why. Again, I'm scatterbrained, and I'm terrible at this. And I should have brought a flyer for y'all to have a picture of. But I mean,
You can send me one. I'll post it on video.
well, my wife can. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not,
Either way,
Again, I didn't even know what a podcast was in February, and now I've been on 2 or 3.
you've went viral.
Well, I guess it's better to go viral than be a virus. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I got on podcasts, but anyway, you can find us on TC Duck Club on Facebook, and I share it. My wife shares it, and a lot of people share it.
I shared one of your posts today.
We're excited about it, and it should be a good time. Like, I'm going duck hunting, and we're gonna kill them, and I'm going dove hunting, and we're gonna kill them. So, for everybody that's wanted to know, when we're gonna do it, this is the fairest way to do it, and we're not gonna skimp on anything. We're gonna buy the best shells. We're gonna we can't make the wild birds show up, but they'll be there.
Yeah.
And again, we're gonna feed you great. You're gonna have great accommodations, and it's gonna be a really fun weekend.
So I was curious how you come up with the Terrapin Creek name part of it at the Duck Club. I think I've got a good.
So I grew up in Piney, so I always the Fresh Prince, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of this. I'm a '90s guy, so West Philadelphia, born and raised. So I always say West Piney, born and raised. West Pine Grove, born and raised. And we called it West Pine Grove. And Big O, who was on the podcast with me, he's from Moshat. And Will Wagnon, who was offensive coordinator, he's now coach at Auburn. Will would always say he's from East Center.
We from John's Crossroads.
Yeah, John's. Now I'm from Sand Valley.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'll always be from Piney, and I had a great childhood, and we always, just kind of joke. We always kind of, because of the center, Piedmont rivalry, which has gotten big. Wasn't much of a rivalry when we were in school. We beat them we just beat them to sleep and everything we ever played, which was not uncommon back then. But now they've got a great program. Steve Smith got them turned around, and James Blanchard and all those guys. And I don't know how I got to rambling. I know I'm rambling, but again, we always picked on my buddy Ryan Law. We always picked on him and said, "Man, you're from Piedmont. You ain't from Center. You ain't one of us. You ain't. By God, I'm as center as anybody has ever been. I'm from Center, dude. You're from Piedmont. You got a Piedmont address." He's like, "I'll tell you right now, by God, I'm from Center."
Sounds like it.
No, you're you're. So anyway, we kind of always razzed him about, "Hey, how's things in Piedmont?" And it's just and I'm sure Piedmont does the same thing to us, and unfortunately they got bragging rights on us again.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we come up with it is we wasn't going to call it the Piedmont Duck Club.
Absolutely not.
Well, when I seen y'all start posting some pictures and stuff of the duck hole that y'all had made, I asked Hunter, I was like, "Why does this look? This looks very, very familiar." Like he said, "I'm pretty sure it's at Ryan's," because me and Hunter actually deer hunted at Ryan's on Ryan and Terry's land for a few years, and so when I seen it, so I guess that I figured, well, that's probably where they got the name.
Yeah,
from,
but again, not throwing shade towards Piedmont or anybody else. It's all good. It's all good. I guess it's fun and games, until somebody gets mad, and there's some great folks and I've got great friends, from Piedmont and still in the area and everything, and again, it's just location,
Yeah.
Either way, that's all it is. Terrapin Creek runs right by the area or one of the areas we duck hunt, and it's just we had to call it something. I mean, you couldn't call it the Ryan and Skylar Club or the He-Man Woman Hating Club or I didn't know what to call it. And Ryan was like, "Let's just call it TC Duck Club." Dude, TC Duck Club. My name's S and your name's R. Why TC? And he's like, "Terrapin Creek, stupid." All right, yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't care. I said, "You can call it peanut butter and jelly sandwich if you want to. I don't care what you call it." So anyway, we were just looking like for something, for people to be able to look at on Facebook instead of just my page or his page, because I had to leave him doing all the work or me doing all the work or whatever. And two, I didn't think that he was going to put our cell phone numbers on it. Well, unfortunately, he's put our personal cell phones, and he got a very, very funny. He's not here, so if you ever want to laugh, you can get Ryan on here and let him tell you about the text messages he's been getting. It is hilarious, but it's just one of those things that TC's just Terrapin Creek.
Has anybody said that you and Ryan look alike?
No, but if they do, Ryan needs to tell them thank you.
I'm telling you, y'all.
I've thought for years. Everybody's got these plans to get rich quick schemes. Well, I hate it that they're off the air now because I grew up listening to them on the radio, and I guess it was a podcast before podcast, but I always wanted to sue Rick and Bubba for being the two sexiest fat men alive. Like me and Ryan, we've got them.
Look, and they're gone now, so y'all got to replace them.
You know, we could replace them.
You could.
Like, we could really replace them as the two sexiest fat men alive. But
TC Duck Club
TC
podcast.
Duck Club during hunting season and the TC podcast, Tapping Creek podcast during any other time.
I'd have to watch.
I'm not
Honestly,
even.
I know Ryan some, and I know you.
I know Ryan
be
and I know
funny.
me, and neither one of us is smart enough to operate all this equipment.
Hey,
I barely am
but you
smart
know
enough
what?
to
You
talk.
could get somebody that knows how to do that.
It couldn't.
And like y'all, if y'all were mic'd up during your hunts,
Oh my
I feel like that would be the most hilarious. It'd be like Duck Dynasty, but
Well,
like in center.
We are going to be mic'd up during the hunt. You got me on TC Duck Club, but Woody Waterfowl is going to film it. You know, for the people for the winners. So I'm sure there'll be a blooper reel. You know, coming from stemming from this little project. So, you know, I don't know what we're gonna do when I make my television debut, but I guess I'll throw my hair back. Just I don't know, but my daddy always told me I had a face for radio. So I think I'm pretty good looking. You know, I'm over 6 foot tall. He's not, or he is. You know, I mean, my dad was built like a microwave.
Your dad used to scare me with his missing finger.
He did.
That
yeah.
Daddy went and dug out of or had somebody dig out of the sawdust.
A long line. And I come from a long line of public servants. I guess my dad was an educator for 25 years until he got diagnosed with liver cancer and had to retire. And he cut his finger off on a radial arm saw, teaching ag, and he was missing his bird finger from his first knuckle. I always accused him of shooting a kid a bird and them cutting it off, you know, because he was mean to him. But I don't know how he cut this one off without cutting any of these off. But he was missing that middle finger there. But yeah, a lot of people say he scared him. He scared me.
He scared me with that.
He could still hold a leather belt. That's kind of what scared me.
You know they still have his finger sitting in a jar
Where?
at the biology lab. I held it myself.
Where? In Senate?
Yeah, at the high school. Yes.
I want to go by and
You're
see
lying.
that.
I'm not lying. I have a video on my phone. I will
Nathan
show you.
Jennings was my biology teacher, and
Kim Graves had it.
he's not there.
Go get it.
I feel like I could put that up on my mantle. My
I
wife would love
literally-
that.
If I
That's
knew where
what
my
I do.
phone was, dude, I just saved a video the other day. They wanted us to make a satire video, and the finger was in the video.
You were lying to me.
I ain't lying to you.
I was a student at Cherokee County.
I ain't
High
lying
School,
to
and
you.
Nobody showed me my dad's missing.
That was Kim said that was his finger.
There's no way.
That's just what she told
I'm
us.
so excited about this. I've got to see this. I've got to see this.
It's been sitting in formaldehyde.
Since I'm an only child, I feel like I'm the rightful.
You're entitled to that finger.
I will donate it back to the not the ag shop, but the science program.
Yeah.
I just want to see it, because I was a little kid when he cut it off. Like, I was just more interested. Like,
I'm pretty sure he donated it.
that
I
sounds
don't
like-
know,
sounds
but
exactly like
I
me
feel
or
like
my dad would do.
I feel like that. I'm pretty sure that was his finger.
Is Kim still working at the high school?
No, I
I don't think so. I don't even know who the science teacher is, but I may have to call, like, Miss
Yeah,
Rogers. Miss
maybe it
Rogers
ain't
was
got-
out there when I was there. She's
Oh, she's the best.
yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome.
awesome.
All right, y'all. I think that's going to be it for us today. Thank you for coming and being on our
Yes, thank you.
podcast.
I'm excited. I love the neon stuff. I'm excited about being.
Would you ever come back?
Shoot, yeah. Am I gonna get invited back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can bring Ryan next time.
I had a lot of first dates, not a lot of seconds.
Ryan's got to get on here.
Yeah, we can
for
put Ryan over
listen to
there.
that one.
Yeah, well, Ryan is more of a spontaneous guy.
Or Big O. We could even get Big O
Oh,
over
Big
here.
O. He
Big O
just
ain't
lives
fitting
right
that
down the
shit.
road.
Well, we got a couch over there.
Yeah, well,
Pull the couch up.
I love Big O. You know, and I like Big O. Big, and I told him this. Like, I'm not throwing shade at Big O because I'm kind of husky myself. But Big O would not be near as funny if he wasn't fat. Like just imagine.
It's always
Big O,
the bigger guys.
Yeah, just imagine Big O
Always.
being like 180 pounds, just chiseled, like looking like Fabio with like a man bun. Guy ain't funny. You know what I'm saying? Like when Big O laughs, he kind of jiggles. I mean, and he's one of the funniest human beings I've ever been around. Great guy. He was my ag teacher, and we were neighbors, and I can't tell you how many miles we've spent, fishing, hunting, driving back and forth to each other's house and hanging out. And I mean, he's just an unbelievable guy. And there's a lot more funny guys than me. So if you're needing some material, I can give you some phone numbers.
Bro, Big O always cracked us up when we went to the races with Pop.
Oh, yeah.
With John Bird East and them, he always went. Oh my gosh, he'd have us about laying in the grass.
So we actually, Evan.
Yeah, we know Evan too.
So I knew Evan from the races, and I watched that podcast. I'm like, I know this guy. Where's this guy from? And then it dawned on me. I was like, well, he's been going to the races. And then he said something about y'all going to school together and stuff. It kind of made more sense. But
yeah, Evan.
I like Evan.
Evan's an engineer, and Evan is actually buddies. Evan was in classes, engineering school, with Shane Thomas, who is one of the guys that started the Hayden, Alabama podcast.
That you went to college with?
That we went to UAB with. And that's how I knew Evan. Evan knew Shane. Shane knew us. And, now we're buddies with Shane's buddies. Shane's buddies with our buddies. And they kind of back and forth, and I didn't even know what a podcast was. Like, I had no idea. I thought they were like doing something to put in like a photo album or something. I had no idea. I thought they were making like a videotape to, commemorate a chitlin cooking. I didn't know. I mean,
I didn't even know that existed until I watched.
We've had, Brian Sneed's hosted a chitlin cooking for years. I mean, you invite people over to eat filet mignon and lobster, you got a lot of people coming. You invite people over to eat chitlins or chitterlings, you're only going to get a certain few that RSVP yes to that one. So the taste ain't great. The smell's even worse.
Is that like pig skin or?
No, not exactly. Google it. All fair. Google it.
It don't sound good.
It's not. It's not. But you find out.
Do they season them?
Or what?
Do they season them?
Sweetie, if they wasn't seasoned, like you couldn't chew it. Like it's rough. Google it. You'll like it. There's your homework assignment from Coach Ray. Google chitterling, but we call them chitlins. But
chitlins.
Yes, it's pork.
Yeah. I figured that.
Try it.
I don't know if I want to.
Everybody needs to try it.
I don't even like pork skins. I don't like the smell
You
of
don't
them.
like pork?
I don't like pork skins. Like, is that what they're called?
The pork rinds?
Pork rinds, yeah. Is it similar to that?
That's why you're skinny. I mean, you don't go to Mark's Groceries and get bologna sandwiches and hoop cheese.
Oh, now we have had
Mark's
his bologna's
bologna's
good, yeah, but I'm not a fan of light pork rinds.
Look, don't let me catch you calling yourself an American. If you live in Center Alabama and you don't eat bologna sandwiches, hoop cheese, and the Tabasco pork rinds from Mark with a glass Coca-Cola. Like, that's one of the best restaurants.
That's Blake and Hunter's stomping grounds.
Oh, yeah.
Heaven. Like, that's unbelievable. I love Mark. Now, Mark's a man of few words.
He is. He always looks like he's mad when you go in there. He looks like he's irritated. He scares me a little bit.
Like Mark's not like Mark's. I wouldn't say that he looks like he's mad or irritated. He looks to me like as a man of wisdom, man of few words. Like he's not gonna ever say anything he doesn't mean, and you're never gonna go in there one day and Mark be extremely excited. And you're never gonna go in there and Mark be just down in the dumps. Mark's gonna be the same guy.
He's consistent.
He's been the same guy since 1987, and the reason I say 1987, that's all I can testify to. I'm an '87 model. I'm a Scottsdale. I mean, I don't know what he was before '87, but since I've been a little kid, he's been the same guy, and I love Mark. To all my do all my shopping out there, or as much as I can. I like Mart.
I actually grew up near the bridge on 71 at Terrapin Creek. Hunter did too. So Mark's was a store. Four-wheelers.
Go put it on
store.
Greg's charge
Oh,
account.
Look,
Yes.
he's got the coldest drinks in town, and it's unbelievable. Bow shop, grocery store.
Done a lot of my bow stuff too.
I mean,
I like that he does that.
Corn.
man,
He's
I'm
a
telling you
jack
what,
of all trades.
He used to sell Rocky boots, which was the footwear of choice for me for years. And then, I bought every bow that I've ever bought from Mart, and my dad bought every bow that he ever bought from Mart, and I'm a loyal customer to Mart's Groceries. It's one of my favorite restaurants / clothing stores / like feed stores.
Deer feed, yeah.
You got it all.
Yeah, my dog loves Mark's dog food. My dog loves Mark's.
So you
kind of
make it a
dog food
point to
does he
drive
have?
out to Mark's.
Oh, if you're not feeding black bag dog food from Mark, you go in there and give Mark your money and say, "Hey, I need black bag dog food," and he'll say, "All right, pull around back." I mean, it's like Toyota. You ask for it, you get it.
You got it all.
Got it. He's got a paddle for every honey. Check out Mark on Highway 9.
It's a good place.
He's not a sponsor, but he could be.
Yeah, he's not a sponsor, but he should be.
He
Yeah.
should be. Tell him he could sponsor us $20 a month.
Mark is a unbelievable American. I love Mark.
Okay, well, we better wrap it for today, or we'll never stop because this is good.
This is
we
too
definitely
funny.
Gotta have you.
We
back.
gotta have you back when you're not busy.
I'm in.
Okay,
I'm in.
we'll have you back. All right. Well, this has been Beyond 21. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Callie.
And I'm the square grouper guy.
And I'm just Blake.
Bye, y'all.